or her, or anybody. Cowards do that, and that ain't you. You're better than that.
Hey guys, what is up? I'm back from a long break, as per usual. And yeah, I'm hoping this time I may be able to revive my channel. I hope that every time I post, and it just doesn't happen. But there's something that I've really been wanting to talk about recently, as there's a lot of news coming about and many things popping up that us Saints Row fans have been in the dark about. And yeah, today I'm going to delve into these, and I'm going to narrow down and explain exactly what has happened with THQ, Deep Silver, Volition, obviously. But however, the blame isn't so much on Volition, is what I'm finding. So as we know, the Saints Row reboot really wasn't what everyone expected. It came to be quite a letdown and really deterred from the original Saints Rows, which we grew up loving and knowing. Me personally, I've been on YouTube for 15 years, 15 long years, you heard that right. And I have got many videos out there where I'm showcasing Saints Row 2, and at the time it was a high competitor with GTA 4. Nearly said 5 then, but no. GTA 4 really created a lot of controversy between Saints Row and Volition and Rockstar, and there was effectively, it led to lawsuits between Rockstar's lawyers, and that was something Volition really didn't want to be dealing with, because Saints Row was that good of a game. And it's quite sad, really, that it basically got ruined because of Rockstar, in a way. From the start, it was Saints Row 2 was dead set on being a good franchise, and I mean, it really did start with Saints Row 1. They built the story from start to finish, and they really created a story that spoke to us as fans and really immersed us in the gameplay. Yet Rockstar coming in and interfering and causing a nuisance, so to speak, led to Saints Row 3, which was still a pretty good game. However, you can see from then how it was becoming more of a city kind of straying away from the gangster side of things. And really, I would say the worst part of Saints Row 3 was probably the Saints Flow monster towards the end. That was when things started to that was the very start, okay, in my opinion, of Saints Row's downfall, and then leading to what we got. See, these businessmen just don't know when there's a gold mine sitting right in front of them. It's a bit like Disney Star Wars. Movie producers and game developers essentially just throw money down the toilet in in a very bland way of speaking, and it just causes us to question why. Why do it? Star Wars Battlefront 2, for example, everyone's wanting a Star Wars Battlefront 3. I'm comparing this with, I know it's a Saints Row video I'm deterring from from the original subject, however I will get back to it. I just want to point out that there is so many similarities between these two games in the sense that a continuation that is well thought out, well written, and made into an enjoyable game that we can actually grow to love and immerse ourselves with is the reason why gamers are so passionate about what they do and we keep buying their games. There are going to be dogs in the game, guys. Literal dogs who you can have as an opponent. It's not an opponent, a companion, and customize them, and it's unbelievable. So yeah, I for one think just having a dog instead of a cat would have added so much to the story, and it's heartbreaking to talk about. Just having a dog there, I mean, I'm a little biased because I'm a dog person myself, so I would just think that's 10 times more gangster than a cat, which is what we got. And it just really leaves you asking what happened. What happened, Volition? Why did you allow yourselves to just play second fiddle to THQ and Deep Silver, basically, is all that happened. So, the original video was going to be about how I would picture Saints Row ever being revived and how they could carry on from such destruction and heartbreak that they've given us to the fans and called. So where can I even start? I mean, seriously, how could we go from this
I'll die before I tell you.
Yep.
to this?
Next slice.
Before I can explain my reasoning, I need to go from the positives and the negatives of the new Saints Row reboot, what they could have done differently, and what was planned to have been done too. So, it's very hard for me to word this without sounding like without working within YouTube's criteria and filtering myself, so to speak. By this point, Rockstar was coming down hard onto their asses, and they really had to change Saints Row from how we remembered it and the games we loved and grew up with. It all had to stop. It all got changed. So that was kind of when I started becoming disillusioned with the Saints Row franchise. And it's just so disappointing. And I just like said, I'm struggling for words on how I'm like fucking mourning, guys. I'm mourning Saints Row at the moment. It was such a good game that it's hard to talk about. Did you know we were going to get freaking Pierce in the script, and he was going to be a main character in the Saints Row reboot?
Yo, it been gone a long time. Maybe I should.
You really shouldn't.
All they had to do was just change a few minor discrepancies, and it would have made the Saints Row reboot 100 times better. Just through a few minor changes. One of the examples would be the the fucking board game. I can't even remember what the name of it was now. I'll cut to some footage I have more easier to describe my point.
Pack it up, we gotta move.
I got 20K on this game. Damn!
Now it's a draw.
Look,
And that
man,
would've just
I know I
changed the
normally do
feel
savory,
and
but I can bake the shit out of
Saints
some
Row.
macaron. Meerkat me.
Just a Saints Row
Look,
gangster
if you want
5
assured salary killbots,
complete.
we need to bring in a lot more cash.
All right, so what?
I mean, there's
We rob
also
a bank?
this. Like, seriously, we're excited about drinking coffee. All they had to do was just make a few little changes like that. It's a game about gangsters. The Saints are supposed to be a street gang, and you've got fucking students drinking coffees. They just basically replaced the coffees with beer. No, replaced the beer with coffee, rather. And sitting there playing a board game when you could be playing chess. I mean, it is a street gang. You'd think that a street gang wouldn't be sitting around playing fucking some knockoff Dungeons of Dragons. I don't know, man. I feel, seriously, all you had to do was make a few little tweaks like that. Lose the Dustlanders. Just throw that idea in the rubbish. And maybe, just maybe, Volition, your game wouldn't have fallen so far from what it was originally about, and maybe you still have a studio up and running today. So my idea for how they could carry on now from what has happened, what has been done, is you have to stray away from everything. Stray away from Gat, Shondi Pierce. Stray away from Eli, Kevin, Nina. I mean, Nina wasn't even that bad of a character. In my opinion, she was the most well written and most believable character I could make out to be a saint. She was the most badass, and I think she used to run with Los Panteros as well. And I really did like the Los Panteros story in the new Saints Row reboot, I would admit. They gave off Los Canales vibes mixed with the Brotherhood, and Saints Godzilla even says this in his recent video he's released on his interview with Volition. And I couldn't agree more. They were the most believable gang out there. I could truly believe that these guys are into some deep shit, and it was actually believable. So I do believe that the Saints Row reboot gets more stick than it really deserves. The decisions were ultimately THQ and Deep Silver. I mean, there was a few questionable tweets out there. However, that was Deep Silver. And if you actually were to look into X's, well, it's kind of like Politician's grave right now. And if you were to look into their last post, scroll down the comments, people have saved, fans have saved and kept the messages these stupid ass game devs put out and angered them all with. And it's all out there, it's still all out there. You can read it for yourself. Just scroll down in the comments on Politician's goodbye and their farewell post on X. It's all still there. And not only did you turn on the fans, your stupid decisions from your developers just led to the destruction and downfall of your entire studio. So well done, Politician. Clap well done. You fucked up. The biggest problem I had with the Saints Row reboot was the Dustlanders, if you want my opinion. That was my biggest problem, because LARPing should be left nowhere near within a distance of a gangster game. Nowhere near. And the original idea, which has just came into light recently from my source, who I've mentioned many times on the channel now. He's meeting with Politician, the Freezer guy, Godzilla. They literally had an idea for this. That idea was that the Dustlanders were just going to be a joke. It brings back a lot of memories on what was said about Saints Row 4, in all honesty. Politicians do like to play the, oh, it was only a joke card, quite a lot. But it still would have made it a lot more bearable and tolerable if the Dustlanders were going to be a joke. However, that does remind me much of what was said back in 2014. I think that's when Saints Row 4 was out. And yeah, they said back then, oh, Saints Row 4 was originally planned to be a joke. They like playing the joke card. Both of those could have been good. The joke. Like, you was literally, like, forget Saints Row 4, that's old news, we already know about the whole excuse Politician used back then for them. But the Saints Row reboot, you were literally going to be able to spray through the entire Dustlander gang without all this LARPing animations not actually hitting the characters, you just hit in thin air. That wasn't going to exist. he was just going to shoot through their whole gang and slaughter them, basically. And it was only going to be one little thing within the game that you could do, and it was going to be a joke, and that would have made it a whole lot more bearable. So now we look to the future. It's the year for Saints Row fans. A new company has brought out the rights to Saints Row. This is where my theory begins. If a new company were to come along, revive Saints Row from its very ashes, and try to fix where Volition left off and kind of shat on, there's a certain way you'd have to go about it. I still believe new characters. I really struggle to see where exactly they would go with Gat, with Shondi, with Pierce. What direction could you now move in? It would be quite difficult to pick up Saints Row from the ashes and move off from there without changing the whole characters, so it's something that has to be done. Yes, you could use Nina, Kevin, not Eli. Fuck Eli. I couldn't stand that character in the Saints Row reboot. Eli was the furthest thing from a gangster. Nothing about him screamed gangster to anyone. And it was just awful. Eli was awful. So you probably have to have a story on where he's killed if you were to keep Kevin and Nina. And yeah. Kevin was kind of annoying, but he was tolerable in my opinion. And much more tolerable than Eli. Say we left off of these characters. You'd have to create a new story from these characters. And the reason why I say Nina is because I really liked her story, I really liked her character, and I think she was well written. I mean, let's be honest, Saints Row had a similar problem with The Last Jedi, with this reboot. People coming along, changing ideas over and over and over would only cause disturbances and problems, and would cause people to lose their passion for the characters they create. And it just causes a whole lot of unnecessary disruption. So the only way to move forward from the Saints Row reboot and make something of it be to bring back the Los Canales.
It's not the Los Carnales. Jesus, what's wrong with you?
Dex, they attacking the row.
What happened?
Angelo and his boys came out of nowhere. They fucked us up pretty hard, but it finally looked like we had Angelo pinned down.
Hola, mi amigo.
You gotta be fucking kidding me.
Gracias, Victor. De nada. Let's get back to Hector.
The Los Canales had probably the best gang story behind them that I've seen throughout the entire Saints Row series.
Luz, we'll go out tomorrow.
But Angelo.
Like, if I was to pick a rival gang, and
You should be nicer to the lady.
other than the Saints, let's say, then I would join the Los Canales. Like,
Mira, Luz, come on, mama.
they
Don't be
were
so sensitive.
a sick gang,
Señorita, a moment. If Angelo is busy,
and the history behind them
Mr. Orejuela.
is even more intriguing. They were the oldest gang in Stillwater, before the Saints,
with me entertaining the lady.
before
No.
the Feiskins.
Good. I'll see you at 8.
In fact, it was the Feiskins who came along and challenged
What a
them.
woman you got there, Angelo.
I know.
I always thought she was a bitch.
These have so much potential behind them, and so much history.
Sí.
You could really make
Pero qué pasó?
a great story from
Ese cabrón hijo de puta.
how the Canales came in, how the Canales got so powerful,
Of course it is. If you would excuse me, I'm going to check on the señorita.
what brought them to the power they are now. Easily fit Nina into their story,
Hey, Angelo,
because
and the drugs?
she is,
What about this gang from Saints Row?
so
Bunch of
I take it
mulas.
that these are a Mexican
Nothing more.
gang,
Your friend would have killed them all by now.
and
I am not
Nina
my
is
father.
also
I've
Mexican
noticed.
herself. It makes sense,
Hey, don't you walk away from me, puta!
and
Angelo,
it would
¿qué te
make for good
pasa? Es
storytelling.
tan grande que pueda ser mi padre, mijo.
Mira, mujer, you listen to me.
If you really want to carry on Saints Row, I think this is the way we'd have to go. Many people would say the Feiskins.
You're
Yeah.
right.
Cool,
Looks like
right, but
everything is under control, Hector.
I think the
We'll talk about
Canales
this more
were
when the others
10 times cooler than the Feiskins.
This is the McManus. As you see, it's fully collapsible and comes in a stately black attaché. The 18-inch
So there's really
cryogenically
a
treated
lot of
stainless steel
background
bull
they could
barrel gives this rifle a
go from
guaranteed
here.
accuracy of 0.2 minute of
And
angle
I
at
believe it's
600
the
yards with
only way
match-grade
forward
ammunition. With its
for this
hand-rained chamber
franchise
and match-grade trigger, the
for whichever
McManus
game
is designed
developer
for the
decides to
marksman
pick it
who
up.
wants to
So I think this is where I'm going to end off the video. I just really felt I needed to say something and speak up about everything that's happened and the news that has come about within the past few hours, thanks to Saint Godzilla. And yeah, I could understand to an extent why Volition got so defensive over Saints Row. These game developers, they obviously dedicate their lives and time, blood, sweat, all into these games. And although the blame is a lot for THQ and mostly Deep Silver more than anyone fucking else, you can't solely put the blame on those two companies. Volition has to take some responsibility, because, well, as Johnny Gapp would say, they ordered it.
You ordered it.
So yes, we do have to put Volition to blame. Because really, they shouldn't have allowed it to happen. shouldn't have allowed the attack on the fans, and inevitably it was their own downfall. So yeah, I think I've said all I've had to say on it now. It's a horrible loss for every Saints Row fan out there. Yeah, I'm still sympathetic to Volition because I like the Saints Row reboot more than most, and from wanting to go into games development, it kind of hits home. Like, if I had the intelligence to go into games development, and I would. So I could understand from a developer's perspective why you'd want to be defensive of your game. However, for a professional company, there's a certain way to go about it, and the way they went about it was wrong. Please either like, subscribe, leave a comment section below. It's the first time I've tried a video that is more than just gameplay. It's still about gaming, however it's more on the financial inside of the developers' departments and the ins and outs. What can sometimes go under the scenes and be missed. So if you want to see more content like this, let me know, and I'll greatly appreciate it for my many years on YouTube to have more than 50 subscribers. That's my problem. I've never been consistent. I get very demoralised when I just see my content isn't really going anywhere. But if you agree with many points that I've made in this video and you feel the same way, please do let your opinions known in the comment section. And I will be sure to read every single comment. And yeah, I will see you later, guys.
Look, I gotta be honest, I was really stoned.
You gotta be kidding me.
Yeah, I totally am. One of the dock workers just called and said this